Hello everyone, so here we are back with the Plato clock, and this time around more specifically the flips of the Plato clock. So as you know, there were some flips missing, and at this point I made my first prototype of a new flip. So here it is. So as you can see, it is functional. Still need to glue it together, but it is not. I did not laminate it yet, nor is it completely perfect. But I would say that if I glue this together, it would be functional in the clock. The thickness almost matches, which leave me some place for laminated. Those are 1/4 millimeter thick. This one is right now, the two together is 0.2 millimeters thick, so almost 1/4. So yeah, before I show you on the computer how I got to this shape, let's first talk about the shape of one of these flips. So I'm going to put this one out. Yes, I know the edges are a bit rough. I need to change the blade to my X-Acto. So, you have the two edges here. So basically, the two pivots here. And then it doesn't really show on the one eye. Well, it kind of shows. So you have here, next to it, you have a little bit of an edge. And then the rest is flat. Let me get the 6 out of here and show you. So here it shows better. So you can see you have a bit of an edge here. And that is to, I guess, to kind of support it and to give more of a wear surface. Because otherwise it's completely on here. So yeah, that's the shape of it. It's symmetrical on both sides. Let's put this one back in gently. So yeah, I'm now going to show you. Also, this is double. Yeah. So I made it on the computer like this. So you have always your one on one side. So basically, if you have your 5 on here, then it's the one on the back side, or the 2, or whatever you need. So it's always like the next one over. So let's show you how I got to that on the computer. So here we are on the computer. So I am using Affinity Designer here. You could probably get away with doing this in Paint.net if you really need to, but yeah, it's much handier in Affinity. So how did I go about it? So I measured up all the distances of the shape, and then so as you can see, I made an outline here. This is what I used to cut. This is a really fine line, finest line I could do, and with cutting it out it just disappears. So it gives me an outline to cut. Otherwise I could have done cut lines outside of the size I needed, but I cut line here, but like this works best. Also, I can't really put 2 cut lines here because they probably just melt together. So I just measured everything with calipers, and then top to bottom, because it's just symmetrical. I put a center line here. This is what I based most of my measurements up. So I just used the line tool like this, and then used the measurement tool to just double check and to measure distances in between other lines. And then what I did then is I imported a picture. This one here, the first one I imported, and then using the vector brush tool, I traced the shape. Because as you can see, I don't know what the manufacturing process was. I assume they were stamped or they were like printed with some kind of like a real printing press type of style. That's how they were probably produced back then. But as you can see, they are very uneven. And well, first of all, I couldn't find um, this letter type. So I had to trace them myself. But I also didn't want it to be like all even, while all the other ones are not. So I traced this one out, and that worked really well. You can see it's a vector, so it's all build up of like, yeah, all my passes I did. And then if I dim this one, then I did the 5 because I needed a 2 and a 5, a 1 and a 5. Then I traced this one out, and yeah, then I printed it. You can see I wasn't too good at tracing it, but at this size, this is tiny. What I also found is that if you do it like this, where you have like the 2 on each side and then you fold them over to make them sturdy, you don't, like, the image is square. I don't know if that's a coincidence or that just is like like something they designed it for. Maybe they were also cut because maybe they were just made, I don't know, made to be a square, something like that. Although that wouldn't really make sense in production, because in order to make that sense for production, like most of the, then you would be like, well, yeah, if two join a perfect square together, then you might be able to fit them on square sheets. But as you know, paper sizing is never in a square, it's always a rectangle. So there might be just coincidence. Also, like the spacing is a bit odd towards the middle. As you can see, I also measured the spacing. The 1 is pretty far out from the middle, and then U5 is almost like to the middle. Well, the middle of this page, but the middle here is the edge. This is the edge of the flip. And I don't know why they put it so far, because like, yes, you have spacing in between the two letters, but you could just shift it over all to the right and that would have the same spacing. Maybe it looks a bit weird if you would. Mm, yeah, I don't know, because like I would have expected to be the 5 to be at least in the middle and then the one more over there. I've no idea. It's just something that I found when I was measuring things up and laying things out. I just found it really weird. Um, so yeah, as for this now, I'm not going to, well, I might do a time lapse of me tracing um, another number. But as for this, I'm not going to show anything more on the computer. So yeah, I think I'm going to make a new one and like laminate it and see how that goes and then like glue it together, and yeah, see how that works, and then make them all and do a test. So yeah, up to laminating.